Track International is a firm that tracks media in Kenya, offering market intelligence solutions for individuals and organizations seeking to make sense of information in the public domain. Their services extend to cover social media monitoring, and to tell us more about this is Esther Kagiri, the company's managing director. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Liz.
Tell us more about your business, because it's quite interesting about social media monitoring and media monitoring as it is.
Track International, like you said, is a media monitoring company where we focus on TV, radio, print, and social media. And speaking more about social media is that it's a market that is growing really fast. We've seen companies have taken up to having Twitter accounts, having Facebook accounts, which, interesting enough, the customers are also responding more, and they're getting responses back from the companies in a faster way and a more convenient way, if I'll put it that way.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, in terms of media monitoring, what exactly do you do? What is your scope?
Our scope is in advertising. We do advertisement tracking. We do editorial tracking. This is what runs on news and in the papers. And we do also film and cinematography tracking. We do music tracking. So we actually track anything that goes on the media.
Okay.
Yes.
What drove you to start this kind of business?
Comparison with what we had in the market and what the world was using at the point of which we were starting Track. We realized that at a global level, people are operating on automated platforms. It's real time. People get to have self-monitoring systems for themselves. And so after studying the industry for a while and having communication, that's my background. So when I looked at that and I thought, wow, this is something we can actually make something out of. And hence we invested now in a highly advanced and automated system to do that.
Okay.
Yes.
I know Kenyan companies and Kenyan people are very adamant to change at times. So when you come up with a new idea, at first people are quite adamant to take it on. Was it a challenge for you in the beginning of your business?
Yes. In terms of course, when you come out and you say we are having an automated platform and you're able to get your information real time, vis-a-vis possibly what they have been getting in the past, then definitely they'll say, okay, now what's the cost implication of that? And we all know businesses is cutting back on cost and that kind of thing. But the most interesting thing is that with technology and an automated platform is that it actually reduces the costs for us as a business, and we're able to pass on those discounts to our clients. So with time, over the last 1 year and about 4 months that we've been in business, we've been able to demystify that to our clients and pass on those discounts to them.
Okay, and talking about costs, how much did it take you to start up your business? Did you require a lot of capital? Because I know for many businesses to start up, the biggest headache is capital. Where do we start from?
Yes, we needed quite a bit of capital to set up. Like I said, having an automated platform in itself is one thing, and then coming in and you've got to back it up with power and all these other things that come in, internet speeds. So we had to spend quite a bit. And yes, capital is hard to come by for any business if you're going to start out and when you start out. So it becomes a bit hard to find and to get investors. I also believe that Kenya is not at a point where we have investors who are just willing to invest in great ideas from young people.
Okay,
yeah.
Let's talk about advertising trends, because you do monitor this. There has been sometimes a misconception that when your signal reaches out to the most people, and when is it determined by the quality or quantity of reach that you have in terms of media? Now we're talking just about media, TV and radio.
Yes, of course that informs the kind of clients you've got, because if you have clients who advertise and say in about 200 stations and your capacity is maybe about 8 or 4, then definitely it will affect who comes on board with you. Yeah.
What has been the nature of the trend lately?
With the frequencies that are issued out by CCK to various various organizations that want to start up stations. Some of them go in and they can't last for maybe a year or so, so they go under. And so I guess the most challenging thing for us as media monitoring companies is that you find you've got you want to invest this much into these frequencies that have been given out, but you don't know how long these are going to last in the market. So it becomes you've got to bargain around and sit and think very strategically on how you want to go and where you want to invest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of social media, how big of a platform is it?
Social media is huge. It's huge because you find our politicians are on it now, our brands are on it, corporates are taking to it for customer care. And so what you find is that clients and customers are now interacting on this platform. And I think it's one of the greatest ways to have customer service for your clients. Because within 5 minutes of typing something, you get a response if you have someone who's seated and that's what they're dedicated to. And possibly future and how companies would be moving when we compare against the rest of the world is that we now need to move to a level where we find our customers and we find what their issues are. Because say if I made a comment on my page, on my Facebook page about a certain brand and I don't like what they're doing, most corporates will not get to know that until they engage a social media monitoring company like ourselves, or they invest in that kind of a platform.
Okay.
Yeah.
You brought in a very important point of probably someone who's spoken badly about a certain brand. And I remember there was a certain Twitter in the UK, someone mentioned something bad about a restaurant in the UK, and that restaurant wanted to sue that person because they had an amazing number of followers, and these people will believe what they're saying. In terms of legal suits, can you sue someone who says something negative about your brand?
I honestly, when it comes to a legal perspective, I believe that something would have to come out in our laws in Kenya. But honestly, your Facebook page is a personal page and you're entitled to your opinion. So not unless a brand really wants to push it and take it to that level, which I don't think would be a really nice way to go about it, then I believe it's easier for you to deal with the customer, find out what their issue was, get into a conversation with them, and I'm sure before you know it, you'll have resolved it.
Okay, great, Esther. We'll be getting to that and so much more. But first, let's look at what you have been saying on our question of the day today, where we are asking you, what do you make of the Kenya shilling's recent gains against international currencies? What do you make of the Kenya shilling's recent gains against international currencies? We have George Wanderi who says, I'm impressed by it and the trend that it is taking, so I believe it is all for the best. We have Wycliffe Simiyu who says, I believe these are schemes by some individuals to make gains and destabilize the market. Chicharito Eric Mwangi says, I am not happy because I am paid in dollars. Well, Odeni Samuel tells him, you're not serious, Chicharito. It's quite interactive. You can go to our page and you can post your comments there. Odeni John says it's quite very impressive. Alphas Rono says nothing because this was first of all an artificial shortage of the dollar, and people here are trying to gain because, as we all know, the elections are coming soon. Well, keep your SMSs coming in on 5505. You can also post your comments on our Facebook and Twitter page. There are quite very interesting discussions going on. Now, going back to the interview that we're having about media monitoring, we were talking about how social media is creating an impact here, and there have been worries about advertising, people cutting costs on advertising on electronic and print media for the option of social media. How is it?
It's a trend. It's a new way people are doing it, and we also find that, take for example Kenyans, we are now at a level where we are more on our desktops, working from our laptops, iPads, phones, you name it, and you can access the internet. So yes, it is possibly biting into a share of advertising on TV and print and radio, but it's not solely the way that you can say that this is all my focus is, if that's not part of your strategic direction in advertising, yes.
Okay, Esther, how can you make money using the online market, the various ways someone can make money using the online platform?
For individuals, if you're one of those online gurus and you like to interact on the net and that kind of a thing, you can become what we call influencers. You influence conversations, you influence what people are talking about, you influence discussions, and that's a way someone can generate some income. We're coming up to elections, people can cash in on that. And also for brands, if you're advertising and the product that you're advertising is specific to people who are consuming internet, then that's also a way to generate some revenue for your business.
All right.
Yeah.
When we go to talking about companies, in your experience, what are some of the top 5 companies that are very good at social networking or being interactive with their consumers?
Top of mind comes, there is Safaricom. We've seen also Kenya is doing quite a good job there. There is Kenya Power. They are getting into it. And there are a couple more, Airtel, almost all by the way, all the telecoms are quite active. That I can say, they're very active on the social networks. And a few of the FMCG, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, talking about influencers, how does someone become an influencer? Probably someone is watching and they're very good at tweeting. They have a number of followers or Facebook followers. How do they start setting the trend?
It purely comes, I keep saying that social media is very much alike to the traditional media, especially when it comes to conversations. Because if you find in the traditional media, if you find there's a certain, say, journalist who is not writing correct stories about your brand, the most obvious thing is to engage with this person and find out why. The same case applies to social media. If you find there's a person who is consistently unhappy about something that your brand is doing, then the most obvious thing is engage with them and have a discussion and find out why. But back to the question of how to create or how to be an influencer, it actually is, everybody is an influencer. And for me, that is exciting because it means that now all brands get to pay more attention to every consumer that they have. Because I might not have 6,000 followers on my Twitter or my Facebook, but I have 300, and 300 might be consuming your product. And what I write to my 300, God knows what it will do to your brand. It could be positive, it could be negative. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Well, talking about social media and media monitoring, it's quite a huge scope. You're dealing with a lot of companies. There are a lot of people putting up comments. Is it a challenge for you to monitor this kind of thing?
No, it is not a challenge because what we do, like I said, we operate a highly automated system where you're actually able to just key in your data and your time and find whatever it is you're looking for from NTV on a particular date. And the same case applies to social media. So once we engage with our clients, which we have to, we sit with our clients and we find out what is it that they want to know from the media. Then they'll tell us. So we design a package specific to them. And so we are able then to thanks to the technology, then we are able to meet their needs when and if they need it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges that you're experiencing in your business currently? Is the cost of the shilling affecting you, the high cost of living?
The challenges we are facing right now is, again, back to technology. It evolves like every other day. There's something new going on. And so what we've done with our partners from abroad is that they keep us posted. And yes, with the shilling up and down and all over the place, then it means that we have got to actually sit back and now make more strategic moves in terms of what we're investing. Technology evolves every single day, and so we can now not go back. But we've just got to keep moving forward and seeing what is it that we exactly need for our market for now, and how do we invest for tomorrow.
All right,
Yeah.
great. What do you think of group buying? We've seen a lot of deals on the online platform, offering deals here and there. What do you think of that?
I think as long as it's open and there's a lot of integrity in it, it's a way to, it's just one more way of doing business.
Yeah. All right. Now, in terms of objectives that you have set out for your company, what are some of them, and what do you intend to do now that internet has become even more accessible to more people?
One of the things is that we are going to keep pushing to make sure that people understand the needs for this kind of services that we're providing. And most importantly, of course, we keep investing and reinventing ourselves, because we have got to keep giving solutions to our customers that work. And above all, we keep listening to our consumers every day, and every single day you learn something new from your customers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it a bother that technology takes a bit of time for people to grasp here in the country?
I honestly would not say it takes, yes, it does take some time, but it is the process of understanding which everybody has to go through. I mean, if you invest in something new, that's a new idea, people will take their time to understand how to work around it, and what does it bring that I don't have, or why should I go into this and not the other. So it's got its challenges, and it's got its benefits.
Okay, what are some of these benefits?
The benefits are that you actually, as you present this new technology to people, then they start to challenge you, and you start to get into a discussion which makes you now see things from a broader perspective and from your consumer's perspective. So for me, that's a great benefit, because most of the upgrades and the advancements we've done in our organization have been from consumer feedback, from our customers' feedback, which has been nothing short of amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to companies that probably who are your clientele, say if Nation was one of them, and NTV approached you and told you, we want you to monitor how we're doing in terms of the social media and also other advertisements, we know that most of these companies go beyond our borders. We have NTV Uganda and so many other stations around the region. Do you also do you have an office that is outside Nairobi, or how do you monitor what goes on beyond the borders of Kenya?
Beyond the borders of Kenya, when it comes to the traditional media, that's TV, radio and print, we are only in Kenya. We are only based in Kenya. And for social media, the beauty of it, it's web-based, so we can be able to monitor anywhere around the world. We're able to give you information that someone is talking about NTV maybe in Germany or wherever else. But for traditional media, that's part of our strategic objectives in the next 5 years, where we want to be, and that would be at least in the East African region. We would want to have representation there.
Okay, a lot of this with technologies coming up, it's all ICT based, and we have seen with the Vision 2030 goals, ICT being a key driver of our economy. How big of a potential does the ICT sector have to our country?
It is the way to go. It is the way to go, because we are actually in the process of finalizing a self-monitoring unit, a self-media monitoring unit, where through the internet you can be able to open up your own small media monitoring unit, even at NTV, and say, you know what, we won't pay for the service to be done for us, but we'll do it ourselves and do it our own way. So from that, we are able we are able to see that ICT is taking a big, it's going to be big, and it's taking a big chunk of what we do in Kenya and how we are going to be operating the next couple of years.
All right,
yes.
Esther, we will definitely go on with that discussion.